Now look at that. It brings the Mexican out of Roxy. She gets all nationalist.
it's like an Aztec song in the pyramid.
Yes. Now here's the thing. John Cage was trying to get people to listen to the sounds of their environment. Here is Varese predicting a common sound that'll happen within 6 or 7 years. You know, the air raid siren. And this is 1933. Hitler has just taken over Germany.
Oh.
And it's going to lead to a air raid siren world, and that's the new music. That's him as an artist telling people what's going to be invading their ears in a short time. That's incredible.
Yes, it's the everything happening at the same time that Zappa really likes, and he has 32 percussions organized there doing things. And,
right. And the drumming. The drumming is like the militarization of society, first in Germany, then the rest of the world, over the next 10 years. But it's chaotic drumming. It's decentralized. You have all these little gangs, like in Germany you had the Goering's gang and Goebbels' gang, and they're all fighting with each other. This is the first article that McLuhan quotes. In his first essay in Explorations in December 1953, he quotes Albert Speer, the famous armaments minister, or design minister, who was put in jail after the war. And Speer saying the problem for Hitler was that telephones and other electric media, he couldn't control all his generals. They all started making their mini empires, mini states. And it's just total chaos. That's how I interpret. You have in the 19th century a uniform military marching, but it's chaotic marching by the time you get to the 30s, which is what Varese is saying. You know, you got this general alert because everybody's being obsolesced by the global environment of radio, the disembodied environment, and you have the military trying to react, and it's kind of tripping and stumbling and not being very efficient, you know, mechanically. That's my instant analysis of that. Top it. Can you beat that? You got something you can add to what I said?
No, but maybe you would like to go to the 38:59
minute mark?
Yeah, that
okay.
He presents the seraph, like the deserts.
Oh, desert. Yes.
After he stopped. Varese stopped composer for 25 years. He was composing again, and that was when Frank asked his mom to call him, and that's one of the first pieces with electronic media. So that's why also Varese is important. He was one of the pioneers of electronic music.
It seems if you're going to be an artist on a deep level, you know, someone shaping the tribe, you have a megalomania. So Zappa, when he saw that Varese did Deserts, which you're saying is after his 25 years, he does Deserts after his media fast, right? He comes back with Deserts. Yeah. Zappa is living in the desert, Mojave Desert time. He thinks it's about him. He gets his Zanardi thing going. He actually said that. He said, oh my God, this great composer is writing about me. And that's what
but
you have
now,
to have.
Now that we know how things work, it's like Ion's first presentation was like, he came like this piece.
Yes.
He presented himself like, okay, here I am, and he turned on Zappa, and then you were into Zappa. All these weird connections really work like that.
Experience. About the year, it was about 69 or 70, where Zappa got to write an article, mainly Stereo Review magazine, 1970. I remember reading it on a street corner in Los Angeles while making illegal phone calls on a phone booth. Carol and I were doing. We were trying to tell some people in Canada what was up, and I was reading the article while getting ready to use the phone. And Zappa tells the story of his infatuation with Varese. And within, before that, like the year before that, Uncle Me came out, and I had the same experience without me knowing about the Perez and Deserts and Zappa, because there I'm looking at the cover of Uncle Meat, and there's a picture of Nova Scotia. I said, holy fuck, Frank's talking about me. That's how I interpreted the cover of Uncle Meat. Probably James Joyce. James Joyce probably interpreted some poem by Stéphane Mallarmé or some symbolist, and he thought it was about him. McLuhan, he finds page 254 in Finnegan's Wake and has the name Meerschaum McLuhan. He says, holy shit, I'm in the book. This is required. If an art student does not have this experience and doesn't report it to the art teacher, then it's not a real art student. They must have the big one.
That's great.
They must. Nobody at Alyssa's art class. Did you have it, Alyssa? Where'd you get it from? Eric Fischel? Where'd you get your mirror?
No, from Ion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ion actually provides mediocrity to everybody. That's a good point. What does Ion do? He makes everybody think it's about them. Everybody says, hey, he just said something. That's about me. And I'm here in Germany, in Cucamonga, Germany. And Zappa can see me. I mean, Ion can see me. That's a good point there. That's like everybody gets it from Ion. Only the artist. But nobody in your class, Alyssa, in your art class ever said, hey, Alyssa, look, this painting by, Eric Fischel is about me. No one did that to you, did they?
No, but when something, yeah, you're right. You're right. No one did
Yeah, there's
that.
no real artist. There are no real artists in Indianapolis. Wherever you, are you in Indianapolis? Is that where you are?
Minneapolis.
Oh, the other Apollos. Right. Okay, yeah. Minneapolis.
Yeah.
This is where I call Carolyn a zombie. Carol never thought it was about her. Did you ever have that experience in any way, Carol? In any culture or any medicine? Did you ever think it was about you in that way? I don't think so.
No, maybe not.
I don't think you needed the validation.
No.
You were a zombie of destiny. You're just going to go ahead and do it. Pay no attention. Carol was very oblivious to everything.
I was everywhere and nowhere.
Oblivious. So anyways.
So is anyone else doing what you do, though? Do you know any other people who make it all about them?
I was considered a speed freak. Bob thinks that the album's about him.
Well, the mental definition is narcissistic personality.
Yes. But see, I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't. I was observing the album, looking at the details, and I met Cal Schenkel 2 years later in the summer of '71, and we went to his place in Silver Lake, and he showed me the dental cabinets where he found the Nova Scotia map. I got to see where it came from because he had the dental guy had left this place, and so he took it over, started renting it, and you'll see on Uncle Meat's got all these dental files on the cover. He just took what was in the cabinet, like any modern, quick fix-it artist. You just grab whatever's around you and stick it on the album cover, and Zappa accepted it. And then Bob, who was the one who noticed the map of Nova Scotia, shows up to see the environment it came from. Now, that's even more obscure. And the only reason we went to see Cal Schenkel is we were up at Zappa's house, and he couldn't see us, so Motorhead, who was one of the original silly people in the band, the guy couldn't play an instrument, but he'd be allowed to play his horn a little bit, and he'd make funny noises. Motorhead was living in the little cottage that you see on the cover of the second Hot Rats album. He said, you should meet Cal Schenkel. So he called up Cal Schenkel, and Cal was in, and Cal said, yeah, come over. So we got in the cab and went over there, and I got to see the dental office, and then he played me and Carolyn the soundtrack for 200 Motels, which was going to come out as a movie in about 3 months from that point, like in November. So it was very nice. Always go where you don't think you should go. And then, I was going up to Zappa's house unannounced. Just knocked on his door at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you know what? He had just come back from the Fillmore East, the closing of the Fillmore East, and he had just played with John Lennon and Yoko Ono, which became a big deal, a big controversy. And we were at Zappa's house the night before when that happened with Motorhead, with a local doctor kind of guy who was busted for dealing dope, and he was waiting to go to his trial. That's who we hung out with the night of the concert. Then the next day we came back, to see if Frank was in, and he was still sleeping because he'd flown in late, from New York. So there's the hidden story of that scene. But we didn't we didn't do a formal invite. What?
Gestures create.
Did you?
Gestures create. Yes.
Do you still have the video where we finished? I think it's 11:22. Maybe it's nice to listen to one more of this
Okay. I like to hear what he says. Now he's just
interaction with his. Yeah, I can tell you every time because the pieces are very long and very complex, but just the how he's interacting with the audience, trying to educate. Trying to explain.
He's just like me on Payday. You fucking idiots. You don't like Zappa. Well, fuck you. We're going to do Zappa for 5 fucking hours, okay? Now listen up and learn something.
You're going to study Dobbs and McLuhan. Shut up.
That's right. And Zappa is very aware. Anybody makes a remark, he responds to it. You hear that? Anybody yells out something, he immediately tunes into it. He's not talking and just listening to himself talk. He's listening to the audience that's receiving what he's saying, and he's watching for the reactions immediately. Very impressive how he hears whenever anybody yells out something. You can just see a boring professor. They would be 3 remarks back. They'd be really slow. They wouldn't be responding instantly. Okay, just a second. I fix my headphone here. Okay, so I'm going to just continue it and see what he says about what we just heard.
Yes, it's 11:22.
We all learn something. When you're laughing, you're clapping. No, when you're learning, you're clapping. I mean, what the fuck are they? They don't even know what they're clapping for. Wow, it's a long clap.
And now, folks, shut up. Now, folks, I'd like to introduce you to Susan, who is going to, You're a rude son of a bitch, ain't you? Okay, good. It's you rude people out there need to hear this. The name of this piece is Density 21.5. That's right. So please be quiet while she plays it, so she can do it good for you. Sue Khan.
Now, if you like to the 1536 mark.
Okay, McLuhan says electric media encourages the audience to get in the act. The audience can talk back.
Yeah.
And this audience can't stop themselves from participating,
Right.
They have to yell and different yells.
Yeah,
And
they seem like an organism.
Yeah, that's right. And we don't even know what they're applauding for. I mean, what do they think they're... That was a huge applause. Man, that was big. And what are they... I don't know. Maybe it communicates to them. They go, wow, that guy did that 933. It's got to be good. It's got to be important. So they respond. So we're going to go to 13-something?
1536.
1536. Okay, here's 1534. kids. That's why these people are just applauding so they can participate. They're just doing it to jerk off, you know. All that frustration having to be quiet for 5 or 7 minutes has to come out. They just want to make noise. So they're not even responding correctly. They're responding for a different reason than normal appreciation. So.
Okay, you know what?
Love conditioning.
Now, I have this very interesting job that I get to do right now. I'm supposed to stand out here for 4 or 5 minutes while they change the stage over. Because the next piece that's going to be performed is Integral. Which, yes, I am feeling better. Thank you very much. Now be quiet. This is called Integrals.
Then these pieces are very long, so I posted the.
Okay, I'll stop it.
I posted the link on your Facebook, so if everybody wants to listen to the whole thing, they can do it. The link is on Bob's Facebook.
Right. Now so here's Zappa. He's just doing what I do. I like this McLuhan interview. You're all going to fucking listen to it because I get a big kick out of it. And I'm forcing you to listen to this shit. And he's trying to tell the electronic global audience to fucking pay attention, and they barely can tolerate him. He's trying to teach himself or project his own subjective favorites. He plays his favorites. It's I never knew if Zappa understood the whole situation. His art expressed the present, but he himself, there's many books written about him as an old-fashioned 19th century individualist composer, or one book calls him the electric Don Quixote, running around, attacking old environments, old windmills, like in Don Quixote. It's hard to tell whether Zappa fully, personally, or one of the Zappas saw the futility of his project. That he...
Yeah. Well, he was there for your entertainment, actually.
Right. He was there for me. Just Bob.
Yes,
to get me through the waiting period of 69 to 2000. I had 40 years in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
The interval between you and I.
I had a great... I knew how to get slack within the terrible wilderness. I always had a good time.
Yeah,
in the
and he's not taking the environment as a barometer of his accomplishment, Bob. So he can be like you. He can be completely irreverent about what's actually happening.
Yes. Yeah, he is. He actually probably is satirical in presenting this stuff. He knew the audience would react this way. This is the performance, his interaction with the audience, and what they are was part of his message. What the present day composer was up against. Wouldn't put it past him that he. The message of this whole thing is not Perez, but Zappa tried to put one little favorite on top of people.
Can you see the imagery of the audience in the YouTube video? Is there a camera feed?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just it's imagery of Perez himself, his history, his life, his faces.
I'm imagining these people that go to orchestra concerts all the time, sitting mixed in with these rock, audience members, and how uncomfortable they would feel, or maybe they would be smiling and electrified by it.
Yeah. and this is in a rock concert. This is not in a regular concert hall that the New York elite would go to.
Oh,
The
right,
elite.
you're right. Okay. Uh-huh.
So they're in a dirty environment. It'd be very interesting to see if there's an interview with Mrs. Perez about what she said about that concert, because I've seen pictures of she and Frank together backstage, but where was she during the concert, you know? What was she thinking of all this? She looked like a nice lady, too, in the pictures of her. So we should try to see if there's any interview of her, what she thought of it all. Because it's an instructive phenomenon. He's taking the avant-garde of the past and showing how irrelevant they are to the present. He's actually doing what I'm doing, propping up something to show how great I am. I apparently appear to be a fan of Frank Zappa. I think Greg Russell figured this out. This thing is not about Zappa. He fell into himself. I imagine. I would like to think that he listened.
He had to retrieve Varese, because if he's going to be so important in music history, we have to know about Varese. So,
yeah, you have to know about Dr. Beater, Mae Brussel LaRouche, or I'm not important. I'm going to change the history of the 60s so that it all lines up that they were important, so that makes me important.
Yes. Relevant, rigorous repentance.
That's right. Well, relevant, rigorous repentance. We're using your term, your meaning, Roxy. Alyssa and I came up with that the other day, that Zappa presented relevant, rigorous repentance. And he's
the
showing
new
his
3
talent.
R's.
The what?
The new 3 R's, you know, like reading, writing, and arithmetic. No more.
Yes, the new 3 R's, right, the new 3 R's.
3 R's.
So Greg Russo, I'm hoping that he didn't get told by somebody. He actually just started to listen to our Zappa series, and I don't know what we did in the first one, but if you listen to the first one, I'm sure eventually Nutball or Roxy started saying, well, this is all about Ion and Zappa and Bob. You know, that's when you go, what the fuck is this? So he realized we were a cult.
Yes, but we're only doing this actually to explain Ion, so...
That's right. Yeah. That's why we're doing this.
We're retrieving Zappa for Ion, so he was
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works. And that's what amazed me, that all the stuff in my tiny note chart applied to Ion, including Dr. Beater, who was on the chart, and Beater caused it, for fuck's sake. That's damn pretty good psychic Bob work there, putting in the guys that would be relevant to Ion.
Yes, and the other parts where Zappa talks is more or less the same, like shut up, and then there is an intermission, and he says, go get something, drink, have fun, and then he presents dessert, and that's at the 38:59 mark, please, Maestro Bob.
I want to hear how he ends it. So is there a break after this piece, Integral, that I can go forward to and find his remarks as before the intermission?
Okay, yeah, if you want to do that, it's the 27 and 9.
Good. All right. That's how Mexicans say numbers, Bert. 27 and 9. What the fuck does that mean, 27 and 9?
27 minutes, 9.
9 seconds, okay, all right. Okay, I'm doing 26 and 57. 26 and 57.
Kind of a big deal, isn't he?
Zappa always has the biggest responses.
Oh, it's working. And now here's what's going to happen. This is intermission while they change the stage over again. They'll turn the lights on. You go out in the lobby and get something to drink. You know, have a good time. We'll be back in a few minutes. And yeah, sure, no problem. Like that. Okay, you guys all tuned up now? Alright, next piece that's going to be performed is very seldom performed. It was originally titled Dedications, and then the name was changed to Offrande, which means offerings, and it's for a small orchestra with a soprano soloist. The soprano soloist is Lucy Shelton, and be quiet. Okay?
So I go to 58, did you say? Rox, 58?
No, 38, 59. Please,
Okay.
Maestro Bob.
This response is ridiculous. I mean, it's not bad music, but fuck, man, it's just flutes and stupid little instruments, not even interesting to the modern ear. But why are these people going nuts over this? Like, there's a mixture. They just love. They're celebrating Frank's.
No, I think.
guess.
Yes, just the presence of
Frank's up to that too, on stage.
They're what?
And so we can't see what Frank is up to on stage while this is going on. And he's obviously entertaining the audience in some way as well, encouraging them.
Very nice musical effect there, Michael. Totally in the spirit of Perez.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Very clever, Michael. So maybe
That was very Zappa-esque.
Yeah, Zappa asked there, Michael. Maybe you need to call back in. You're really distorted. We don't know what you said.
Like
It was like
electrified.
It was like the xylophone. Yeah, electric xylophone on top of your voice.
Yes.
Is it still distorted?
It's still there.
It's still distorted. Oh, okay. I'm the phone back in, but.
Okay, so.
It's like the resonance.
Right. Okay, so we're going to start it. Let's just say a few words before it, so Michael can come back and hear it. Anybody got any other ideas to fill in the dead air for a minute? What about Bert?
Well,
do you know anything about? Does Bert know anything of Perez? You ever heard of this stuff before?
Yes.
If you heard.
Yes.
You knew about this?
When we were first talking about Zappa, when we started the Zappa series, I remember reading up on him about Zappa's fascination. Also, by the way, Ion has 2 Zappa YouTubes on the master playlist. He has when he played the bicycle on Steve Allen, and he has Zappa's last interview, which actually has Zappa just talking about Perez on it.
Wow. But that's Ion celebrating the murder of Frank. Yeah,
So he has to add ion. You have to add ionization. It's in honor of you, Sugar Love.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he says, Sugar Love. Yeah. What do you say, Sugar Love? What is that? You like that, Sugar Love? So,
Super Sugar Love. Super Sugar Love. Sorry.
Roxy.
Is that corrected, Bob? Is that corrected or still?
Yeah. Now you're good.
Better.
So what were you saying,
Now
Michael?
we know you are an android.
Yeah.
I was saying that in relation to the amount of applause that is being given, we also cannot see the visual of what Zappa is actually up to on stage. And we know how he likes to entertain the audiences.
I don't think he's doing anything. He would be speaking. I think he's just...
What's he wearing?
Yeah, Carolyn just said he could be shaking hands like he does in that great video of Muffin Man, or receiving panties thrown up on the stage. That's pretty good. Carol knows her Zappa.
Just like
That's
you,
pretty
Bob.
good.
Just like you, Bob.
Yes.
Pillow talk
Yeah.
and panties thrown, Bob.
Yeah, so, what?
Roxy, did you say that Perez was the beginning of electronic music?
He was one of the pioneers, and he is going to explain that when he presents Desert.
Okay.
Cue it up.
And, we had Gail on, Gail and Reiner a couple weeks ago. Gail wrote a book on Hugh LeCane, one of the first electronic composers in the world. He was a Canadian. And so she did a book on him way back in '89. So you might want to look at he's not as well known internationally, Hugh LeCane, but he was very avant-garde in this electronic field. What?
You see on the Perleches video, there were people working on different type of machines since the 19th century. And there had been people doing things in Russia and Germany. But, the recognized pioneer of electronic music is Stockhausen and Pierre Boulez. But there were people doing many things already at the end of the 19th century and at the beginning of the 20th century. But maybe their music didn't transcend, or their machines.
Right. But Perez, he was pretty innovative, right? The way he brought in these other sounds. He's given credit as being a real original. Right?
Yes.
Isn't he considered an original of that multi-level music?
Yes, he was so original that even in the avant-garde blocks criticized him so much that he had to stop.
But that siren is so perfect. Talk about having perfect pitch for his time. That's
the siren. That's
and having
iconic.
go constantly. Yeah. That's pretty good. And ion is
Bob, would
an
you
alarm.
say that is that an effect preceding
Ionization.
cause?
Hey, Michael, let me just finish the thought. Ion is fire alarm, or the alarm. That's what Ion's been saying. He's here to prepare you the last minutes. He's in the middle of the disaster. So the siren is going. The disaster has started. So ionization is literally, hadn't thought of this before, literally describing Ion's effect. Literally, that's how would you present what Ion is if you try to tell your neighbor or someone? You'd say, well, there's an urgency happening here. The environment, the boiling point, everything's changing. Dew line, he's a distant early warning system, but it's not 30 years. It's 10 minutes ahead of time. Look out! Next week, shit's going to happen to you. Well, it's already happening. That's the point of the siren. It's on because the disaster has started.
Railroad coming through.
Railroad. That's from Firesign Theater.
And the siren is an important archetype in the Odyssey.
Oh, that's right. The sirens in Ulysses. That's right. The travelers always got wiped out by the siren. So radio is the new siren. Radio is changing people and going to cause a global war in the global war village. That is what Joyce is featuring, the radio effect by the 30s.
It's like a metaphor of all media. Is the singing of these sirens that attracts us and at the same time can destroy us.
Right.
Well, it's the same as when we say Bob kills someone when they listen to them, that the siren does the same thing. So Bob is also representative of the siren.
That's right. That's CKLN, man. I was a siren at CKLN. And I would get on there and offer to kill people. I actually knew what I was doing. I said, okay, I'm going to kill you. So different DJs would have me on their particular program and see if I could kill them. And they always admitted I did. Because I blow their mind. I come up with something that they had never thought of.
Also, the siren tonally is like a sine wave. It's smooth up
Yeah.
and down, and so there's an element of this shifting that happens, and the interval and the sliding and the gap. That's all kind of taking place tonally as well.
Yeah. I mean, I never focused on this thing. I was just going with the word, but hearing it today, it is a good thing to play. What is ion? Play ionization for people. It's so literally accurate. I mean, that's even more incredible. And he calls it ionization. Wow, that's pretty...
That's huge.
Glad you forced us to listen to this, Roxy.
Very huge.
These are the very sophisticated, poetic jokes of Ian.
Yes. Say it again. Sophisticated poetic jokes. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah. Because he always said they were cultivating things, always in many creations.
Yeah.
So he was putting himself everywhere.
So so it's
let's listen to the presentation of deserts.
Yeah, I'm impressed at Ian's selection of Zappa videos. The beginning and the ending. He has the bicycle 63 to almost 88. It's pretty good. Okay, so we're doing at 38 minutes. What is it?
38.
I can't believe there was another composer, like you just mentioned earlier in the show, that had the same years, but the century before.
Right.
Wow.
2 centuries before, 200 years before.
Wow. Okay.
And it's during the American Revolution, that key period. LaRouche writes a lot about the period 1763 to 1788. That's a really key period, the beginning of the United States, the making of the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, all that. That's a key area, period. Just like 63 to 88 begins with the Kennedy assassination, then leads to the CIA director becoming president, George Bush, you know. That's a key. That's Zappa's era, the turbulence. So, does it start at 29? Am I right? What number? Am I 38 or 28?
38, 59.
38, yeah. Right. I
World
stopped
38,
myself
59.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Now, I think this changer is going to take a little bit longer. But, sure. You got one? Yeah. Why not? Makes them happy. Let me tell you what the next piece is going to be. Huh? Of course. It's lovely. My work clothes. Wait a minute. I'm trying to talk to these people. Next piece is called...
That's great.
Is there if you're really suave. And when I was a kid and made a phone call to Varese, I believe this was the piece that he had just finished in around 1955 when I tried to talk to him on the telephone. And it was one of the first things that he did. Back in the olden days. Yeah, I'm 40 years old. What's the difference? So, no problem. Anyway, that was one of the first things that he completed after he had stopped composing for all those years. And it's the most difficult piece that they're going to be playing tonight. And it also has sections which are being brought to you on tape. Varese prepared, some of you don't know this, but he was one of the pioneers of electronic music. A lot of the things that you hear now on records that are electronic effects and the techniques were pioneered by Varese. And he was ahead of his time, that's right. Maybe 1 million years ahead of his time. Better than the Beatles, really. Much better. not bigger than the Beatles, but better than the Beatles. So, let me tell you some more about this piece. Listen to me while I explain this to you. This piece deals with the problems. You know what the basic problem of composing is? You get a blank sheet of paper, and the problem is, what do you do with it? And, sometimes you put down things that aren't chords. You put down organized pieces of sound material. And the style of this composition is slightly different than the other ones. To my ear, it sounds a little bit more like the type of thing that Anton Webern would have done. And I found out last night, I was talking with Mrs. Perez on the phone, and she told me that there had been letters back and forth between Perez and Webern, and then that they knew each other and knew each other's music. So that kind of confirms my suspicion about this particular piece. There's a lot of open space in it. There's a lot of really carefully balanced sounds, and it's not banging and crashing like the... Well, it's not that it's so avant-garde. It's so good is what it is. You know. So the best thing about Perez's music, as far as I'm concerned, is he took a difficult problem and found an interesting solution, and one that I think is going to last a long time. And you guys were really smart to come down here tonight and hear this. And I hope you enjoy it. So, have you guys set the stage back there? If you did, go yeah. Not you, I'm wondering. If you didn't, go no. They don't know what they're doing back there. Anyway, part of this piece is on tape, so don't be surprised when the orchestra stops and the lights go down and the sound just comes out of the speaker. Can I read this? Okay. So they're ready to begin now. This piece is 23 minutes long and it requires a lot of concentration, both by them and by you. It's called Deserts or Desert, and hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, the piece is very long, so I don't think we could listen to that. It's really long, but maybe we could listen to...
It was great to hear what he had to say. I want to say one point, definitely a Bob element there when he says, you guys are really lucky that you're here. You're really smart. I'm always
Yeah.
You were so smart because you're here. What?
It's also bringing up Iron's comment of live and Memorex, because he's playing a tape and a live orchestra at the same time.
Yeah. And this great comments, great Zappa thing, and he said the people in the back don't know what they're doing.
No, he asked the people if they're ready with the setup, and the audience says no, yes, no. And he uses that when he works with the Ensemble Modern and Welcome to America. They ask, sir, yes or no? And the musicians go, yes, no.
Later, Zappa had problems with the unions. They thought he was an anti-union guy, and they'd fuck with his stage setting, in the 80s, in big concerts. They would... he had lots of different complaints. They'd screw up on this, screw up on that, not show up, he had to be in New York City, mafia-run, Teamster-run kind of city on the low culture level. He had to be careful what he said about unions, because they would know. And he's also doing Perez in New York, because New York, he said, was his favorite audience. They're the most alive, the most whatever. If this was in Toronto,
the best
you wouldn't have got a
fans.
Yeah, the best educated, the stupidest people. They're not American, whatever they are. New Yorkers are a species of their own. But if this was in Toronto, it would have been total silence. No audience interaction. I mean, these guys are nuts. They're typical New York Bronx cheer people, yelling, screaming, rude. They don't give a damn about what's going on. They're just happy to be there and communicate themselves.
He sounded like a high school teacher. He sounded like a high school teacher.
I'm thinking of Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of, Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yes, and
which was a famous high school show.
One of the ways he was erasing these boundaries between high and low art is he will appropriate things from classical music and intervene them or disguise them in his music. And I sent you a video where the mothers play Beret, and he does a rock band version of Octandre, a piece of Beret.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. It's a good point here. He had to make it in rock and then make it in classical so that he could put the rock audience in the classical setting. I mean, there's manipulating grounds. Audiences are ground.
Wow.
That's incredible. He's mixing audiences, and he had to achieve he had to become noticed enough to get a rock audience. Then he had to be accepted by an orchestra to play the music, and his whole point was to satirize everybody and everything else.
I think Alyssa said that a while back.
Oh, okay.
He'd manipulate the audience and the venue.
Okay, well, I'm saying, looking at the work he did, he was successful. He had to become a success, and that was only the foreplay. His real thing was to actually do this, get Perez being, rudely interrupted and all that, and have the crowd cheering too long for the wrong reasons.
He was educating the voters for Trump, but he thought
he's preparing the world for Trump. and he said, listen, he said his home was. He described his home, the one that most of his life was in Woodrow Wilson Drive. He says it's done in Rumpelstiltskin decor. That's what he said.
Wow.
Rumpelstiltskin, he said it right there. About his own house. Woo, woo. And I'm the only fucker in the world who knows this stuff.
Yes, you mother.
I love a mother, man. I'm a fucking mother.
Your mother. Yeah, this video we can listen complete because it's only 1 minute, 19 seconds.
What's that? What are we going to do? Are we finished? Well, let's hear the ending. I want to hear how this ends. Can we go to the ending and hear the 10-minute applause? Right, let's see. So there's a couple more pieces. Does he say anything interesting that we might be missing?
It's all the time he's saying shut up and this and that.
Okay, the same stuff. All right, now he's saying he's 40, and he's got Miss Rez on the phone, and we'll have to look up what happened in '83. That's where he did another tribute, and I guess that's when she showed up, but apparently she's not there on this one. So we'll see. So I'm going to go. It's a minute 20. It's almost an hour and 22 seconds, so I'll go to the 1 hour 19 minute part. Not 20, 1 hour and 22 minutes. And then now we'll go to the 1 hour and 19. He's already talking, so let's go back.
Some green stuff grooves along the top. Let me see whether they're finished moving the furniture back here. Oh, just a few more minutes, folks. Somebody in the audience just asked, how come he only wrote 10 pieces? Well, I'll tell you why, even through the distortion here. You like the distortion like that? Okay. He only wrote 10 pieces because he stopped composing for about 25 years because everybody gave him a bad time. Hated it. The reason that they hated it is because they were stupid. But these things happen in America. But at least we do have 10 pieces that we can listen to, and you're going to hear 5 of them tonight. And as soon as they get everything organized back there, well, maybe they'll have another concert and play the other 5. The other ones are for large orchestra. This is, I think the total number of musicians that are working here tonight is either 30 or 40. It's like a chamber orchestra. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, all right. They must be ready back there by now, I hope. Okay, good, they are. I didn't bring my guitar. I brought my necktie instead of my guitar. What? Put on the tie tack? Okay. Hey, Roy Estrada is now in Colorado. Okay, any other questions? No problem.
I like that. They yell out, "Where's Roy Estrada?" That's like saying somebody yell, "Where's Bob Marshall?" in the Bob Orchestra. But I'm really, holy shit, is Zappa like me? Holy fuck. I mean, just the way he said something there. It was, they didn't like that shit because they were stupid, just like you people are stupid. Why did they like Flores? Oh, because they were stupid. So, yes, he's very, very honest, very direct. That's what we have on Payday. I mean, I've announced everybody who ever knew me in different worlds and should know about Ion. I've pronounced them, if they fail to make the grade, they're fucking stupid. They show that they never understood nothing about me, even though they claim to be experts, because they're not here today. They should be here today. We're presenting Zappa in a way different way than anybody else is presenting Zappa. It's more fun this way. Let's see. And, it's interesting, Roxy, as a little girl, heard about Zappa in the mythology and electronic music as a kid.
Wow.
Because her teachers were into Zappa, had to be aware of Zappa. Yeah. Right, Roxy?
Great.
Yes, yes.
But Roxy ignored that. She had to do her own creativity. She ignored Zappa for 40 fucking years.
No,
30 years, I don't know.
I like Zappa, but I like even crazier things.
Right.
Like I really like Stockhausen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could say that. But you didn't have the McLuhan background to get the figure ground meaning of Zappa. When you showed up here, we then told you why Zappa should be a little more attentive to him,
yes,
which you learned your lesson well.
I told you to. I learned everything from Bob.
She learned about what she learned. She didn't know what she had learned.
Wow.
She did all that data and didn't know what the meaning of meaning. She was reading all these philosophers about the meaning, and she didn't know what the meaning of the meaning was.
Yeah, the killing round of the big work and all that.
Yeah, and all that. The big work. Yes, and Carol used to go around 40 years ago and say, well, we're doing the great work. The great work. I go, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know that it was we. I was doing the great work.
That's right. Yeah, I'm the other fucking bingo maniac. Fucking great work.
That sounds too much like work.
Yeah. The great play is what we should be doing. That's right. Carol went around saying the great work, and I thought, I don't know about that, Carol. I don't know. Great work. I kept it to myself, though. And she would say it about once every 10 years. If you say it, I'd forget. I had forgotten. I'd be surprised that she knew it. Remembered it, so it turned out to be true. No greater work witnessed on the planet today.
Yes, so to celebrate that, let's listen to the mothers playing Beres. This guy saying contemporary music as rock.
Right, so I'll move it forward a bit, since we can't stand Beres' music, actually, so we'll move it forward just a bit and get to
I sent you another video. This is
okay, but let me just finish the audience. I want to hear how he says goodbye. So start about here.
Underwood is working in the studios in Los Angeles. Ike Willis is probably... Vinny?
You talk about Ike Willis.
Waiting for...
Okay.
He is now in Colorado. Okay, any other questions? No problem. You see this thing here? This was a gift that a young gentleman prepared for me. This is an actual baby snake's tie tack. It looks like a marble with green stuff drizzled on the top of it with two little blue eyes, and it's supposed to go on your tie. So I'll now anoint myself. The movie is going into distribution in about 2 weeks in the Pacific Northwest. We're doing it ourselves, one step at a time, and it will eventually come back to New York.
Baby snake.
A little while, it'll be back. Huh? What? The band tonight? Well, let's see. Name a guy and I'll tell you where he is. Vinny? Vinny is probably waiting for a contractor to call him for a studio date. Jimmy Carl Black lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Don Preston, he's getting ready to do a tour with the grandmothers. Ian Underwood is working in the studios in Los Angeles. Ike Willis is probably sitting at his house in the San Fernando Valley right now. Captain Beefheart is probably in the trailer.
What was the trailer?
Have you guys finished back there yet? One at a time, please. Now, one moment. Listen to this. Mrs. Beres is here tonight, and she's 90 years old, and I don't think that she's going to enjoy having all of this razzmatazz going on, so calm down a little bit and give her a break. What? J.H.? Oh, John Hancock, of course. No problem. Ray Collins drives a taxi cab in Los Angeles. What? You bet. Okay. Oh, the albums? Okay, there's an album coming out on May the 1st. It is called Tinseltown Rebellion. Okay. Mr. Smothers is one cut that is from studio recording, and the second cut, well, the basic track was recorded at the Tower Theater in Philadelphia, and then that has some overdubs on it. And then all the rest of the album is live. There's one cut from the Palladium. There's some cuts from the Berkeley Community Theater in California, from the Odeon Hammersmith in London, and from the Carbondale, Illinois. It's wonderful. It's dangerous. I'll tell you what's on it. The first song is called Fine Girl, second one is Easy Meat, and after that, followed by For the Young Sophisticate, and then on side 2 there's Love of My Life, No Heart, the Panty Rap, no, Dead Girls isn't on it. Let's see, another one is called Now You See It, Now You Don't. Side 3 is the dance contest. Were you here with Butch and the Mongolians for that dance contest on Halloween? That's on there. Nice. The cover is a collage by Cal Schenkel. There's also a live version of Brown Shoes Don't Make It. My going to sing tonight? No. Next tour is in October. Oh, they're done moving the stuff. Oh, yeah, let me tell you about that before they open the curtain. The inside the Tinseltown album, there on the inner sleeves, there's an advertisement for 3 volumes of guitar albums. Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar Some More, and Return of the Son of Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. All available by mail order only.
That's awesome. So we don't get to, on this recording, they don't have the last piece. So that's really good recording. You're hearing Frank. You know, sometimes when I'm talking in Payday, and I'll just go, someone says, no, I go, what? It's like not very elegant. You go, what? And Zappa's like that. You go, what? You know what I mean? He just, it's not
Shut up and play your guitar.
Yeah. And then Return of the Son of Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. So we go to what? One little one you want me to play?
No, it's like Zappa disguising contemporary music as a rock band. He plays Octave by Barres with the Mothers.
Okay.
And it's only 1 minute, so you can listen to the whole.
Right. These are coming in under McLuhan's novel signature.
Yeah.
Why that? Why is it coming under McLuhan's novel name?
Oh, because I have two mails and I'm using this one.
Okay. Right. Okay, so here we come. That was good. All right, so that was way back in the late '60s. I think I saw Jimmy Carl Black there. You know, it's the late '60s band. So what's next is Ensemble Moderne being interviewed, right? That's the next part.
No, I would like to go because we're into this how he's appropriating and intervening things. Making quotations. I just sent you the Petrushka, like a piano version of Stravinsky. And then we're going to listen how he quotes that with in different places.
All right. Yeah, boy, she's talented. Yuja Wang. She really vicious. Plays it with vicious intensity.
That's coordination.
Yes, and now I sent you again Zappa playing Stravinsky with his rock band.
Okay. Do you know of this Yuja Wang, Roxy? You ever heard of her before?
Yes, she's a good pianist. I think she's Chinese.
Right.
There are a lot of good Chinese pianists now.
Yeah, they're into Westerns. They're going East goes West, West goes East. Right?
Lang.
They think the 19th century's avant-garde. It's all new to them. Okay, here we go. Is that literally Petrushka, or is he adding some other things to it?
Well, he's arranging the piece, but it's Petrushka. He quotes things, but he gives them like a twist. He doesn't play it like just like interpret that just plays. He makes his own interpretation.
And he did that there? He put a twist on it?
Yes, he has this like psychedelic type of it's not like so perfect, so like a machine, like the piano arrangement we heard. Petrushka is for orchestra, is a ballet. Right. And
did he write that in the teens, like Rite of Spring, or is that something from the 20s or 30s or 40s? When is Petrushka written? Maybe someone could look it up.
Sure.
We got some people blocked here. Let's see. No, everybody. Are you here, Alyssa? Is Alyssa gone? Yeah, I guess Michael's here and Bert, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So what were you just saying, Roxy? He adds a twist to it. Oh, when was Petrushka written?
I'm not sure.
Do I have to Google it?
Yes, I'm looking for another video by an Italian. I suppose he's studying music, and he says he was listening to a record from his father, and he recognized in absolutely free quotes by Stravinsky. So he made a YouTube of different quotes he found in Zappa records.
Right. It says Petrushka is a ballet burlesque in 4 scenes. It was composed in 1910-11 and revised in 1947. So that's that. Then put in Rite of Spring. Is that the same period? Well, it was performed, but did he write it before Petrushka? Rite of Spring. It was written in 1913, so Petrushka comes before the Rite of Spring. Okay, so are you sending me? Do we go to the German interview now?
No, I'll let's listen to these quotes because now we're talking about it. So then I think it's better we do it. Did I send you Musica Tutti? I'll send it again.
Did you? Yeah, Musica Tutti.
Yeah, it also says Petrushka is a stock character of Russian folk puppetry.
Russian folk
puppetry,
what?
Known at least, Petrushka is a stock character of Russian folk puppetry, known at least since the 17th century. Yeah, since the 17th century.
Yes, because actually Stravinsky was taking,
hand puppets.
In many cases, folk music, and he was then inserting these folk songs into his composition. So Petrushka is actually, I think, a folk song that he works into a ballad, and then it's so like recycled from folk, and then Zappa takes that again and recycles it again.
Right, so you have, LaRouche used to write about this. The great composers would mix high culture and low culture. They would build from a folk song. And I think that became a trend, under telegraph conditions. I don't know if that's the way it was in the
the nationalists that appeared with radio.
Right. Yeah.
There was not only a lot of dictatorships and the Nazis, but also these nationalist movements in many countries. Many composers were taking their traditional folklore.
Yeah. So
I sent it you again. It's called Musica per Tutti. It's an Italian guy who discovered quotes of Stravinsky in the music of Zappa. So we'll just listen to the thing.
Okay, here we go.
It's in Italian, but you'll get the music. They're using the Stravinsky with Inagada da Vida.
Yes, I see that. Yeah, butterfly. Right. Okay, let's see if he goes.
He's playing with these little samples. He's making these collages, but he's really doing it in a way that, like he says, he really likes Stravinsky, and he was listening to Sir Frank Zappa, and he recognizes these things. So he's really brilliant because it's not like a quote, just he really puts that inside. He's disguising all these things, and he's doing also the same with popular music. He makes covers of of hits, and but he also does this with contemporary composers and with classical composers. So he's really brilliant, and because one can recognize things, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like you recognize everything. Like, oh, that was Zappa. That was.
Oh yeah, one thing I was going to say, Zappa, he's got left hemisphere mind. He knows dates like I do. You say, well, they made it in 31, and then it came out in 33. He does a detail left hemisphere kind of expression. So we're not getting to hear what that's from. It's not.
Because it's before the quote by the Stravinsky, and then he's given the examples of where you can.
Oh, okay. So we go back here.
I think it's a fagot, no.
Anche Zappa. Andiamo a sentire quindi l'assolo del fagotto che ha reso la sagra della Primavera uno dei pezzi più famosi del Novecento.
Yeah. No, it's from the La Sacrée du Printemps.
Okay, so Zappa would make some music out of it. I totally get that. He'd make a rhythm or a triplet or whatever you guys call it. Oh, here comes a new one. Oh, Roxy just dropped off. All right, we have to come back in. Looks like Eliza's gone, but she made nice.
It's also interesting, Bob, that Petrushka means marionette.
I meant Alyssa is gone. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That Petrushka, is a word that also means marionette, and one can hear in Stravinsky's Petrushka that he's doing an audio of the movement of the marionettes that one would normally see in a marionette theater. And in many ways, Frank Zappa is also mirroring that kind of movement in his compositions.
Well, you know what his first art form was? He used to entertain the kids in like grade 1 and 2 with his puppet shows. That was his first art. Wow. Yeah, so he's got the puppet thing. He's quoting him. So he's doing his own autobiography with these different layers of himself.
Yeah.
He'll name songs that he means refers back to when he was a kid.
So, and it also requires some level of music education to comprehend what Zappa's doing, as this interviewer is showing how he picking melodies and things that we think are Zappa, but Zappa's picking them up from classical composers and reinterpreting them for us.
Well, the Stravinsky stuff is of Absolutely Free, and the first albums is very well known. People caught it. Educated musical listeners caught it very early, so by 1969, people were pointing out what Zappa was doing there. So
Leo DeLion just made an interesting comment. You know, we talk of Zappa as a composer, and a conductor, but one can also think of him as a puppet master.
Yeah, that's major.
The audience.
Yeah, and his band members are puppet masters, puppet people, puppets.
Yes,
he hinted that at different times.
And he's using his hand to. He's using his hand to conduct his band, which you use your hand to play the puppets. So he's got that invisible string from his hand to his musicians. There's an invisible string. Yep,
that's good. Let's see who this blocked. Is someone else? Who's this blocked person that just came in? You hear that? I'm muting you. They're not speaking.
I don't hear anything.
No, we hear you, but I mean,
okay.
There's another. Yeah, there's another block person.
I dropped out this way.
Yeah, we got that, and then the second block person came in after you when you came back. So we're going to what's next? You got the puppetry. There's an essay by McLuhan in the early 50s where he quotes somebody T.S. Eliot quotes a Buddhist text where the city is run by one person. He's the only one awake, and all the citizens are puppets. That was an image that T.S. Eliot used in his poetry. And it's almost a Gnostic image. It's the fallen world run by the demiurge. So everybody is on the strings of the demiurge.
And that's like Bob and Carolyn staying awake when everyone disappears.
Yeah. Yeah, we were the first team, pairwise couple, puppets masters. There's always just one puppet master. Well, I was lazy, so I brought in an assistant. So they could do the other half. I was only half interested in being a puppet master. Wasn't that appealing? So where are we at now? We're going to do conceptual continuity, but let's listen to. I'm interested in what the musicians say, and then Roxy's translation. Is there anything else you want to play? Or is that it? Is that what you've?
I need to go to the toilet, so I'm going to send you the carnival music.
Play that.
I just go to the toilet and you listen to this carnival, German carnival music. So there it goes. I'll be back.
Okay. There it is. We're going to play this German carnival. Because Zappa celebrated Halloween. So this is a German Halloween kind of thing.
He scored.
What's it from?
When they choose like the prince of the crazy peoples of the carnivals.
Yeah. Right.
So they make like parade, and the prince wears this hat that Zappa wears when he played with Ensemble Modern.
Right.
And we were commenting with radio nationalism.
Yeah,
was a big thing. People got turned on like that. Only the black people got turned on in a different way. They made jazz, but in Europe and in other countries, there were all these nationalist movements. And here in Germany, all the traditions are very strongly associated with the Nazis. And it's like very bad taste. It's not something educated people sort of like, for the proletariat. Proletariat to engage in this
what we see right now is not liked by the sophisticates.
Yes.
This march. Right? Is that what you're saying? This march
yes, because all nationalism is linked to the Nazis. So
right. Okay, so what's incredible of this video is the length of the band. There's hundreds of people strolling in. It never stops. the drumming people.
and it's a carnival, but it's like very Prussian, very organized, like.
yeah. And they're going to come in with a crazy guy at the end. If we let it run, we'll see the crazy guy, the King Crazy.
No, but
you don't see it.
I can show you the video when you see a prince if you like, but I mean, I think we make our point.
Yeah.
It's just that that you see the context of what he was doing with Ensemble Modern. Here in Germany, there's really a big division between the Ernste Musik, the serious music, and the Unterhaltungsmusik, the entertainment music. So
he's wearing this big hat, and that's a shocker for the ensemble.
Composers start recognizing that what Zappa is doing is really relevant and really interesting. So people like Pierre Boulez will go visit him often. Yeah. And he was really arrogant. He was a mystic, like he told McLuhan. And other composers start appreciating Zappa, and he's then engaged by the Ensemble Modern to compose things for him. And it's been 25 years that this collaboration took place.
Yeah.
And before the concert, they had a talk where they explained how it was like. And I think it's interesting because there are some interesting insights.
Right.
And if you like, we can hear that. It's in German, but I can tell you it's like around 15 minutes, but you can break and comment.
Yeah, now, you said Pierre Boulez was the arrogant mystic?
Yeah. Do you remember the video with Marshall McLuhan?
And Schaefer. That was Pierre Schaefer.
Pierre Schaefer. Sorry. I was thinking it was Boulez. No, but Boulez was also like that. And he...
Arrogant mystics.
Yeah, they start hanging out with Zappa. They recognize he's going to be real important. And what he's doing is really transcendent.
And they got to temper their arrogance around him. They get to start loosening up a bit. Okay.
Yes, and they were freaked out. The audience and the musicians, everybody was freaked out by this crazy rock star that it's infiltrating these serious music spaces, environments.
Yes, spaces. Okay, so I'm just looking for, I had that one, but I might have clicked it off, so I'll look into my collection of stuff to see if we can find that one, which is one of the first ones you sent me.
I can send it again if you like.
Yeah, I think you should, because there's a lot of stuff here under your name, so it might take a while to find it.
Okay. I'm going to send it again.
So this is February 22nd, people, this year, and Roxy is secretly taping their panel discussion. She's not allowed to do it, but she's getting away.
No, I was allowed to take the panel discussion, but not the music. But I did also tape the music.
That's right, yeah. And so these are the musicians. They're all young. If you see footage, the documentary on them in 1992, about 1992, they're all young. Here they are, the three main guys, 25 years later. They look a little older and heavier.
And we did this only for education.
Yeah, this is only for educational purposes, not for titillation. We're not here to get you laid. This will not get you laid.
Okay, send it again. Did you got it?
Not yet, but it should be any second. Still waiting. Hasn't come in yet. Should. Well, it looks like it got lost. Click it again.
What happened? I'm always in the parallel world. These things happen all the time. Like I try to see ion links and they say they don't exist. Okay, let's try again. Oh. What happened? Okay. Again. Yeah, the interesting thing is the insights of how Zappa composed.
Right. Okay, it just came in.
So
okay.
It is very well documented.
What is?
The whole process with the Ensemble Moderne.
Well, okay. Yeah, you can watch many videos on the rehearsals that Zappa was doing. Okay, so here's the 25th anniversary of Zappa's collaboration with Ensemble Moderne. This is Roxy in the lobby of the concert house in Berlin, and there's some big jukebox they got there. That's like a museum piece, right, Roxy? It's just there.
Well, they were trying to create some American low culture.
Okay.
Funny thing. They don't know what to do to attract people to the concert hall, so they are trying to make this Disneyland thing.
Yeah, bring the animals in. Trying to attract the animals, the animal house people to come in. So it's a very nice big jukebox, and I guess you can make the music go. You can select music in it.
Yeah, one could.
Yeah. So Roxy is filming the environment before you get into the actual auditorium.
Ja, vielen Dank. Herzlich willkommen im Werner Otto Saal und zu einer Einführung eines ganz besonderen Konzertes. Und ich habe einen Teil der Protagonisten hier, die schon 1991 bei der Entstehung des Projektes dabei waren. Hermann Kretschmer, Klavier und Stimme. Muss man sagen, also er wurde da im Grunde genommen als Sprecher entdeckt bei dem Projekt.
Aber heute nicht mehr.
Heute nicht mehr, heute bist du ja schon entdeckt, genau. Dietmar Liesner, Flötist, und Rainer Römer am Schlagzeug. Vom Ensemble Moderne, herzlich willkommen. Ja, mein Name ist Ulf Werner, ich bin hier Programm- und Orchesterdirektor und war 1991, bzw. 1990 bin ich zum Ensemble Modern gekommen als Projektmanager und habe dieses wunderbare Projekt mit Frank Zappa eben auch miterleben dürfen. Und wir haben uns schon eben hinter der Bühne unterhalten und diskutiert, was war das Besondere an diesem Projekt? War das Ende von Crossover oder der Anfang von Crossover? Dietmar, du hattest gesagt, das war das Ende von Crossover. Warum?
Ich habe einfach nur Quatsch gesagt. Das war überhaupt nicht das Ende von Crossover. Das war aber vielleicht auch kein Crossover, sondern das war vielleicht einfach ein Komponist, der sozusagen eine unglaublich große Leidenschaft hatte fürs Komponieren, fürs klassische Komponieren. Als wir bei ihm ankamen in Joes Garage und auch bei ihm zu Hause waren, die ganze Wohnung war voller Partituren. Also wirklich hochgestanden. Eigener Partituren und die sozusagen, der hat nicht auf Auftrag gearbeitet, sondern einfach.
So, how did the guy introduce the musicians, the host, the MC?
Yes, he says they were there. These are three of the original Zappa project musicians. One is the pianist and the voice, the Sprecher. The other is a flutist, and the other one is percussionist. And he himself is the project manager of Ensemble Modern. And he asked them, well, was this the start of Crossover or the end of Crossover? And,
what's Crossover?
Well, the mixing different types of music.
You mean in the classical field? This is a significant point in 1992 in the history of serious music. Is that what they're saying?
Well, that's how it's called. This mixing of different musical styles, like ethnic music into classical or contemporary.
They're asking if Zappa is the first. They're saying Zappa is the first crossover? Ah.
Yes.
And, okay.
And,
so he asked the guy if he believes that?
Yes, and he says, well, when they went to California, they were really impressed that the place was full up with music from the floor to the ceiling. Really amazing. Everything was filled with music sheets of Zappa. So they realized that this guy is composing non-stop, because most composers work when they get a
commission,
like a contract,
a grant,
a commission to do something. But Zappa was doing it non-stop.
Right.
So he said first he thought that was the start of Crossover, but now he changed his mind and he thinks for Zappa there was no divisions. Music was music, and he could appreciate any type of creation, like we've been illustrating.
Yeah.
And then you stopped.
But what I didn't get, you're saying there was someone, he says there was someone before Zappa. Is that what you just said?
No, they there are many people like Stravinsky that take, for example, folk music, ethnic music, and work in the classical music.
Yeah.
Or people mixing different, like doing collages in electronic music of different styles of music. But he's asking them, do you think Zappa is the one who started doing this? And they said he's beyond that, because for him it was just music.
Right. So they're saying Zappa, there was crossover before Zappa, but Zappa was different in some way.
Yeah, he didn't even thought of that concept of crossover.
Yeah, he would not think it. He didn't need it. He lived it. He lived it near the radio world, right? That's what you're saying. That they acknowledge. Like I thought you said, the guy says, "I used to think this, but now I think that." Is that what you said?
Yeah, because he says, you said that was the end of crossover or the start of crossover, and he says, no, that's nonsense. Actually, he used to think that, but now when he thinks again about that, he knows that for Zappa it was
Zappa
all music.
It wasn't a strategy, an intellectual strategy by Zappa. It was just natural to Frank. He's saying the category doesn't apply to Frank. And he crossed over different movie, TV music. He had more stuff to mix than the folk culture of Stravinsky.
No, he's like watching the TV and zapping, zapping.
Right.
You have everything, like cartoon music, film music, epic, anything
game
you like,
shows,
like
game
films,
shows.
And nonsense, carnival, covers.
And game shows.
It's
you know
just
about game shows?
The whole acoustic environment, like in the Finnegan's Wake, everything.
Right. You know game shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jeopardy.
Yeah.
He would
the whole
use
environment is the big Roxana.
Right. And remember, he's saying this movie for your ears. He actually was visualizing. And if you look at what Cosmic Awareness said to me in 1969 about Zappa's music, 69, early 70, in Seattle, they say Zappa was doing, it's almost like a tactile interplay and visualizing it. The visualizing of Frank is important. That's why he says it's a movie for your ears. You might think movies are visual. It might be tactile, all the senses, but the eye, because Zappa started off as a kid drawing, and all his musical compositions and paper, he considered that he was drawing the notes.
Yeah, and also the documentary they made that is called like everything happening all the time, or what's the
yeah that one.
Yes, it's that all music, all sound, everything is vibrating, and everything is part of this big anything, anytime, any place for no reason at all. That's the name of the documentary.
But
and
see,
that's the concept of Zappa. Anything happening.
Right, but it's a visualization. In the end, Zappa, this is the old-fashioned part of Zappa. He's a Gutenberg Galaxy person, a literate individual who's trying to visualize, and so he takes physics and all the sciences, which are visualizations, he makes a collage. So his work points to a place beyond visualization, but it seems that Zappa himself was visually biased, and that's how he organized his work at the deepest level. He had these tremendous ears, but he was visualizing it, just like he wanted to be a president. He visualized America. Put visual order to it.
He's visual, but also visual by TV and movies,
like
radio. That radio can also be very visual.
Right. So the Finnegan's Wake's a visualization of all the media. He's much like Finnegan's Wake. He's visualizing all the media dynamics, and he's appreciating the sound textures and the movement textures, kinetic and acoustic space, but he is naturally visual, it seems.
That's his humor too, Bob, and his music is humorous. Why I laugh at his music is it's stimulating something visually in me more than audio.
Yeah.
So he's creating these visual pictures that are funny, even though there's actually no image there, but we're still picking up on that.
Right. He in 1969, he was in Europe after he broke up the Mothers, and he was showing footage of his band, and he was talking about how it was orchestrated. What you saw was orchestrated by by the sounds, I think. It was like that new cymatics, that science where people show water being affected by frequencies or visual particles.
Cymatics.
Cymatics. At that time, I thought he was saying that kind of stuff back in '69 when I read about it. But later I thought, well, maybe he's more of an eye person, and the ground is not music. So that's still an ongoing discussion, so I'm just bringing it in. Is Zappa, in the end,